Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head.
Do you know what to do?
Like a welcome.
Well, as long as it's not a song.
Hold on. You've got a song?
Uh-oh.
Because I was looking at the buttons, right? Because obviously we've got
Linda!
We've got Barry Casnola shouting Linda. And I love that. I'm a big fan of your podcast with Colin, by the way. I really enjoyed that. It's nice as a listener to listen to it. I love this button.
Baldy!
I like that an awful lot. I think it should have been used more. I like that you introduced it and I was like, oh, we're going to be enjoying this on the podcast.
Well, I want to make sure you catch them off guard with it. Like, the thing is, it's fun, and you can overuse it too early. So it's there. I probably should have used it once during the actual podcast, but now next time we're doing Alone with Friends, I can spring on them. But
the beauty of these buttons is the light up. So we've got the red button for Linda, we've got the blue button for Baldy, and I spotted there was a green button. I was like, oh, what's this green button? I'm just setting up the podcast. Live here in Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
His girlfriend picked his dog. His girlfriend picked his dog. His girlfriend picked his dog.
And I'm going to be dog. Didn't have the end bit. I think I must have just went, I get the gist, and took my headphones off. I feel
well, so you ran over my joke even when you were alone.
I did, I really did.
I just got distracted, didn't listen to Boys, Dad, I've heard half of what he said. I can assume the rest.
So yeah, I feel quite attacked by that. You've been on a real character assassination of me lately.
I beg your pardon?
You have been?
I've not.
You have been trying to paint me as a big old wuss.
Well, no. I don't think that's tarnishing your name. I think that's just describing you out loud in public and, pointing out your
that's what
pussy old behaviours.
That's what somebody would do if they're doing a character assassination. And I'm going to call it, you're doing a rebrand of us. And you're also trying
I feel like you've rebranded yourself. I'm just pointing out the new features. Like, I'm letting everyone at home know the Kai Humphries patch notes. Like, the old Kai Humphries had standards when it comes to bits. New, improved, updated Kai Humphries does not. He's got better clothes because his wife picks them for him now. She also picks his.
It changed. I was meant to put my merch on.
Oh, for the video, I see. We'll get to my merch in a bit.
Oh yeah, you're in a legal battle against yourself right now.
Aye. Do you not understand what in a bit means?
Oh yeah, okay. I know, but I'm giving them a teaser. Like you know when you're about to watch Impractical Jokers, and they practically show you the whole show just before the show.
Yeah.
Where they'll go like, here's just a sequence of clips, and then the clip is like probably about 15 seconds longer than the bit that they showed. You're also trying to rebrand yourself as like you're being weirdly masculine on things that you wouldn't be masculine about.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? I walked in backstage at the gig last night.
Aye.
We'd had a heavy night on the whiskey. We'll talk about that in a bit, so don't blow your load. And I come into your dressing room and I was like, you don't happen to have any paracetamol there?
Oh, right, that's the way the conversation went, is it?
That's exactly the conversation went with me. Do you ever have any paracetamol there? And you were just like, yeah, bro. What do you think I have paracetamol, bro? You're like a fucking South Park, the fucking principal, what's he called?
PC principal.
PC principal. You're like PC principal, as if like, what am I carrying? You were. You want a little sticky plaster? Do you want a plaster?
So interesting to see the world through your eyes.
You are so macho about it.
About paracetamol.
So macho about paracetamol. I was like, it would just be prudent to take medication on tour for.
No, I agree with you. It would be. It's a smart thing. Like I get heartburn a lot of the time and indigestion, so it's wise for me to take Rennies around with me everywhere.
That was another one, right? We're getting drunk tonight because we're on holiday and we're on tour.
We're not on holiday. We're on tour. If the girls listen to this and they hear us saying we're on holiday, we're in trouble. We are at work. And they couldn't come.
Who's the coward now? Who's the pussy whipped bitch now?
No, I'm just saying we're not on holiday. This is work. We're doing a podcast.
So.
And it's like pulling teeth.
You had mentioned that you sometimes get heartburn and you'd like to pick up some heartburn medication. Like, this is like on the side after your macho tantrum.
Look, we'll go back to that bit.
Tantrum. about having paracetamol, right? And then I said, because we're going to get at the pastry shop and we picked up some pastries for in between the gigs. And I'm like, well, I'm probably going to be drinking wine tonight. And if I'm having pastries, I'm going to get heartburn.
This isn't the way any of the conversation went, but carry on with your version.
I mean, that wasn't the conversation. That was my train of thought. It's like, let's go and pick up some pastries for the interval. And I'm like, in the interval where I'm drinking wine and whiskey and booze and that. Like a legend. And then you were just like, what, did he get heartburn off pastry? and for the podcast, I'm toning down the homophobia.
The spin doctor is out in force today. Are you not dizzy? Are you not dizzy?
It's
the fucking Tasmanian devil. Jesus Christ.
Gaslit now as
Did you pick up those victimhood shoes from Melbourne? Did you? When was the last time you were there?
Yeah, what do you mean victim? I'm saying what you're like. I'm not saying that I'm just saying you're being super macho about things that you wouldn't be macho about.
Right.
It's displaced behaviour. You're insecure. You're insecure about your own masculinity, so you're hamming it up.
No. You are clearly getting more sensitive because you have a dog with anxiety. And you know, when owners start to look like they're dogs, you're starting to pick up the characteristics of your dog, which is you're getting anxious, you're on high alert, and you feel
I haven't even picked up my girl yet, so how would that happen?
So what actually happened, I was in the dressing room reading my book, and you came in very sort of smugly like, you didn't forget to bring paracetamol with you, did you?
That's not what I said.
What happened?
You lie.
I'm not.
I take these headphones off to make it look like I'm being serious. You fucking lie.
And you were
Did you pick up the paracetamol? Like as if we had like a little itinerary of list of things to bring.
Exactly, and that's why I was like, what are you talking about? As if we just, as if it was a standard thing. If we brought along, fair enough to go, do you have any paracetamol? And I would agree, I would be being a toxic male if I was like, oh, you want some painkillers, you fucking pussy? That's toxic masculinity.
I don't even get a hangover.
No, she just went, you didn't forget your paracetamol, did you?
You're not going to drink them with water, are you? You're drinking with vodka, you're like a man.
And then we were having this exact same argument at lunch, and you were like, it's an absolutely normal thing to bring medicine with you on holiday. I'm like, absolutely, I agree with you. I wish I'd brought some Gaviscon with me, because last night I was drinking whiskey and smoking a lot of weed.
But it wasn't enough pastries though, so you're a man.
No, and you went, you're the one that gets heartburn off of pastries, right? And I'm like,
that is what happened.
That is what happened.
That is what happened.
It is. You're the one that get heartburn off of pastries. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Pastries? I just told you it was whiskey and weed. And you're like, is that a donut?
Yeah, I thought it was off the fatty snacks.
No. Oh, so you
So
can't.
there's that, right? You're painting yourself into this corner of a big butch dude. That's what you're doing, right? Like you're a big butch dude. We get it. All right, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Daniel.
I just feel like
what
you're trying to do now is you're trying to lower the bar of what manliness is, so that when you get your dog, you're still closer to it. You're trying to bring everyone else's.
No, that's
you're being a toxic man. No, I'm not. I'm being who I always was. And if I was being a toxic man and you were to point out a correct bit of that behaviour, I'd probably work on it.
So on top of this, couple of things. You really made a big deal last night of me prancing out the way of a sprinkler and saying, "Oh no, I'm going to get wet off the sprinkler."
That's
and
not
you
what you said.
really made quite a big deal out of that.
It's not what you said. We were standing out by the presidential pool.
Oh, let's talk about the villa we're in.
We are staying in.
We got this so wrong. We were meant to be here. Right, it was meant to be a holiday, even though we're working. We're meant to be doing one gig a night.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock at night.
6 days in a row in Lisbon. And we were going to obviously bring over Cara and Natalie.
And we're also putting we'll put the feelers out for the pincer to come for Matty and Amir. So if the girls wake up with bruises on their boobs, it's just like a big who did it. And Matty's just stood there like the man dressed as a hot dog.
Somebody's got some explaining to do.
So Matty the pincer is going to come with Amir. Natalie and Cara were coming.
But then obviously Cara would like me to point out in the podcast that it's all my fault and that I'm the big bastard.
You did give her the disease that is killing everybody.
Look, no. This idea of blaming people for who gave who COVID. If you got COVID and you go to a football stadium, fair enough, everyone there is allowed to be like, you gave me COVID. But when
you tried to kill you tried to kill Cullen, which we respect.
Aye. baldy.
Which we respect that, right?
Aye.
But you literally like took your wife out in the crossfire.
Aye.
Collateral damage.
Cara got sick, got COVID. Well, we had to isolate at the same time, so Cara wasn't able to go get her first jag, and because she didn't get her first jag,
she couldn't get a second after 6 weeks.
Couldn't get a second after 6 weeks.
6 weeks was like less than 2 weeks before the trip.
Aye.
So it just didn't work out. She couldn't come. And then Natalie, out of solidarity, which she's really regretting now, she loves Cara.
Aye.
And she's like, I can't go without Cara. That's not fair on Cara.
Aye.
And then we sent her some pictures of food, and she was like, I should have just threw Cara under the bus.
Aye, fuck Cara. Cara who? That fucking...
So she's on a flight right now.
That strumpet that Sloss has been with for 4 years now. I don't see it lasting. So yeah, so
we're just bouncing around this big villa,
that
has a reading room. If anybody's watching this podcast on the HD video,
when we were filling out the passenger locator form, and they were like, "What's your place of address?" I think the first clue when I was writing out Casa do Presidente, I was like, "That's an interesting name for a hotel." Mm-hmm. Like, I don't speak much Portuguese.
Presidente sounds pretty...
I reckon that's the president.
It's regal, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon that's somebody in charge of some shit. Call me old Sherlock Holmes, but that's Casa.
Castle means castle.
Well, it actually just means...
It means house, doesn't it?
House, I think. Aye. Because
Casa.
In Love Island,
Su casa.
There's Casa Amor, which is like
Amor,
love.
Amor
house.
means love.
Love house.
House of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aye, I mean, it's all shit. Anyway, and turns out we are staying in the old mayor's house.
And there's pictures of him and stuff.
There's
like framed gold-plated beetles.
Yeah. Some
like ornate candlesticks. We've got it behind us. We've got a big library with like a glass-fronted library case of old books. And there's just nice pictures everywhere.
And I think he was a good mayor. We don't know much about him yet. But anyway, it's a big, lovely house. If you're watching the video, we'll be taking some footage of it, and you can see it's fucking ridiculous. Like, we do feel like ballers, and then feeling like ballers is immediately followed by feeling like assholes. As we're both just out by the pool, and
there's just this melancholy sadness about it. We were both sat on the swings last night because there's the mayor's grandchild's swing sets out the back in the dark and shady woods.
Well, I don't imagine the kid goes out on it at night time
with the electric fence near
we don't know it's electric because somebody didn't have the balls to check.
Yeah, well, I wasn't good. I was high, right,
and drunk,
but I think
feeling silly, a little bit loosey goosey.
You were like, "Oh, look at that generator," and they've tried to disguise it with like plants and stuff. This is a generator. I was like, "Why is the generator like so far outside?" And then I saw the fence with barbed wire, and you were like, "Oh, I think it's powering the fence. I think that's an electric fence." And you were like, "I can't try it."
Aye. It's not going to be a fatal fucking electric fence. Like, it's not. The president doesn't live here now. They're not trying to kill people.
Right next to his kid's swing set.
Aye, they're just going to... And I don't think it is electric. I think that's just the electricity box. Go out and check. We'll film it. We'll film it on camera.
I just didn't want to do the...
We'll film it on camera. That'll be the footage.
I didn't want to do the podcast.
We'll film it on camera. That'll be the footage.
But I'd look like one of the wet bandits while I was doing the podcast. I look like Marv.
Marlin's the dad in Finding Nemo.
Marl is the... Daryl's brother on...
You mean Merle?
Walking Dead. Oh, Christ, I'm having a nightmare.
No, you really are.
I'm having a nightmare. Oh, anyway, then there was he. We had Matt Runner's going, what, you're not even going to touch the electric fence, like?
Oh, here he comes. Jeez, oh. We were worried. We nearly broke the swing set, and obviously if you break anything when you're staying at... anyway, you pay for it. That's the right thing to do, but... that would have had to be an under the table payment. Mm-hmm. Why have you spent £1,500 last month, Daniel?
What's this against the tour?
Oh, I was just I broke the mayor of Lisbon's grandson.
See, I was a child swing set. Well, you know what? The child's recommendation. It's like like a toothbrush. A tooth is just a recommendation. You can brush anything with it, really.
Yeah, it's like a jigsaw that age says ages 6 and up. It's up. Yeah, I am upward of
minimum age on it.
There might be a weight and height limit, and if you want to bring those up, I'll happily go. But it's seemingly just an age thing. So, and the reason we were up in the swings was because we were originally were down because drugs are decriminalised in Portugal.
Yes, right. So you can get cocaine in Portugal, right? If you want it.
Not that we know.
And not illegal. I think there's it's probably illegal to sell it at the shop. You probably won't get it at Asda, whatever the Portuguese Asda is, right? But it's not illegal, right? But menthol cigarettes are. Tapasda.
Pasta. Thanks, man.
Nice, kind of.
Took me a while. It was posting in.
Yeah. So what I was saying is like they've decriminalised all drugs. I think you can take heroin, grand, fine with it. Which, by the way, you bottled doing that last night, jabbing it directly into your arm.
Give me some heroin. I'll give it a go. Girls aren't here. Rules are off.
But menthol cigarettes. Nah, that's the problem.
Well, we were out having a joint down by the pool, and I just kept hearing like, and I'm like, fuck, snakes or some shit. And then you just go, you see water going, you're like, oh, it's obviously the fucking sprinklers. But it just seemed that everywhere we would stand, those sprinklers would warn us. They never got us, but they were always just giving off the early warnings of...
Yeah, where they start pumping air before the water gets into the...
Like doing the equivalent of like tapping the back of your partner's head before you're about to come. Like just, it was doing a courtesy.
Yep.
The garden was doing us a favour. It was like, look, you're about to get sprayed. And I'd feel it was ample warning. What I don't think it warranted was sprinting up the stairs going, oh no, we're going to get sprinkled. That's the only bit I was laughing at, and there was no homophobia involved. Any perceived homophobia is you projecting because clearly you saw how you were running. I just thought it was very, very funny that you sprinted up the stairs and genuinely and legitimately said the sentence, oh no, we're going to get sprinkled. I'd never heard sprinkled in that tense before.
Never had I. And you know what I really hate about myself is my natural disposition is that. You know, if I can measure a response, right, it's a hard man response. It's a one of bravery.
Yeah.
Right? If I can just get between stimulation and reaction, if I can step between that, my stoic response is always I want to be proud of. Right? But if I don't get between stimulus and reaction, I react like a little bitch.
It was that time when we were...
All the time.
It's my favourite thing in the world. We were out in Hawaii. I'm sure we've told this story on the podcast. But
the zip lines. Let's do it again.
We were doing the zip lines through the mountains where they like filmed Jurassic Park.
And Skull Island and just anything where it's like prehistoric set is that's where they're set in.
Most of the Rock's movies have been filmed there.
Yeah.
Like Jumanji and fucking...
Journey to the Centre of the Earth.
And we're doing a walking trail bit just to get up to one of the first zip lines, and the guides...
The guides were constantly laying it down that be careful because there is wild animals here. There's like a lot of boar. So just keep your eyes out.
Yeah, and just stick to the path, and we're on this particular path.
He's just planting that seed as we travel.
And he's like, oh, well, this is definitely the boar area. And then one of the guys goes down and he comes back and he goes, this is the area where the mum's there with a couple of her kids who just be on the lookout. And he goes, I'll go ahead just to make sure she's not doing anything. And we walk for maybe a minute, 2 minutes more. And then the same tour guides who'd, hinted at this happening the entire time. Telegraphed it, some would say.
He disappeared for several seconds.
And then jumped out of a bush and you threw your wife in front of you and the perceived boar.
That's not entirely true.
It was right.
I jumped behind her brother. I jumped behind a more solid defence.
Just in case the boar came out and
But he made a really good boar noise.
Did he?
It was like so realistic that I thought like, ooh, if we're getting attacked by boars, I better save myself until last because I'm going to be the one fighting to the death at the end. I don't even know how to spin this. I can't get into it. I've got no spin. Happened 3 years ago. Can't spin it.
And he's been working on it ever since. He really tries. He's got an entire back cave where every time he fucks up, he goes down into it to work out who he can spin the story of him not being the wanker or the loser in it.
Well,
it's a very scientific approach.
So there's that one. There's the we're
human
gonna get
centrifuge.
sprinkled as I prance off up the stairs. And then there was also the time when the door swung open and we thought it was our flatmate when we lived in London. Do you know about this? The door that I accidentally spoke to once because I thought it was Natalie complaining.
It's just a very creaky door, and you open it up, and it just
drunk as fuck at like 3 a.m.
I don't even think we were drunk, mate. I think we'd driven back from a gig, like.
All right, give us that one at least. He's like me last, just changing bits of stories that didn't matter.
If anyone was drunk, it would have been me. You would have been driving. So we get back, and the creaky door just goes, this is 3 a.m. And you were like, sorry, baby. Sorry to wake you. It's just us.
Just us.
Like, that's not your wife. Jesus. How unhealthy is your relationship that just something... I love you too, baby. Every time somebody's out the backyard, like a couple of cats get into a fight in a back alley, you're like, I'm coming, honey. It's okay. Dinner's almost ready. Don't get cranky. Poached eggs it is.
So, I'm sat with Natalie, and I heard the creak of the door, which I knew wasn't Natalie because she was sat next to us. I was like, you're not throwing your voice, are you? And I was like, oh, it'll just be the door. It'll be Cat coming back. And then we're like, Cat's on holiday. It turns out what had happened, right, is the door had just been put, like, it hadn't been shut properly, and, like, strong gust of wind, like, because we had the balcony door open, just swung the door open, and it made a clatter. It just sounded like someone was busting into the house. And granted, right, I did move towards the noise. I didn't, like, dive behind the couch or anything like that. But I shouted at the intruder, "We're not expecting anybody." We're not expecting anyone. This is you're breaking social protocol here. This is against social norms.
You should have texted first. Yep. You should have called ahead.
Mm-hmm. Unannounced isn't cool.
What did you expect? Like the burglar or the murderer to be like, oh fuck, so okay, can I schedule in 1 o'clock tomorrow morning? Is that can I murder you then?
Yeah, when will you not be in?
Yeah, what's the best time?
So Natalie, shortly behind us, grabbed the nearest blunt object that I could use on the intruder and put it in my hand, and I continued approaching the perceived intruder with the bottle of Prosecco she handed me. I'm like, I don't expect anyone, but I just so happen to be ready.
Is that a little top up, sir? A little nibble, a little nip before you're troubled? Oh God, I got my words mixed up there.
Yeah, you take all my tech and I'll pour these.
Yep. Yes, you can have her underwear. No, I don't want to know what for. Reckon they do that, burglars?
Burglars sniff undies. Well, that let's just say men, because it's probably men.
I think it's very sexist. I think women burgle.
I think less women burgle. I think like so disproportionately less.
Like what?
I think like less than 1% of burglaries are women.
No way.
I think for every 100 burglaries, you know what, right? I reckon like you'd lower the number if there's like women involved, but they're like keeping toot.
All right, Nish Kumar, Jesus.
What?
All right, Nish Kumar.
Oh,
just being very lefty and feminist. I think less than 1% of robberies are done by women.
Yeah, I genuinely think that's.
I'll Google it.
Are you gonna Google it?
I'm gonna Google how many women.
But yes, I think they're like their moral standards are already low. So if they would get off on sniffing knickers, they're not going to respect your privacy. You know, they're like that cannot be a line in the sand. You can't be morally okay with breaking and entering and taking someone's stuff, right? But then have a moral high horse about perversions.
Well. Oh no, wait. Oh God, I've got all the stats here. Jesus.
Is this UK stats? Global stats?
That's an excellent question. This is United States, and this is 2012.
Okay.
But it's still,
okay. It's a study.
So we've got murder and non-negligent manslaughter. So I think that's obviously intentional manslaughter. Even anyway, percentage of males. 88.7%.
That's on murders.
Yeah, and 11.3% of females. Rape is 99.1% men. That's unsurprising. Robbery, 87% men.
Okay, that's less than I thought.
Women.
Still.
Where are we closest? Larceny theft.
What's larceny again? I feel like larceny sounds like like slashing someone. Is it knife crime? It's absolutely not knife crime, is it? It's like stealing a car.
Is larceny. God, we're so stupid. Larceny is a crime involving the unlawful taking or theft of the personal property of another person or business. Oh, you can smart bitches.
So stealing a business. So you know,
like intellectual property theft.
So you know, like the merch that were made for you.
Yeah.
Is that larceny because we didn't get your permission?
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about that. Daniel has merch.
Well, we tried having merch.
I think some people have already ordered them, so I wonder if they've been sent. And you've got like a small percentage of people who've got like the only Team Cream merch that's ever in existence.
There is one crime.
One crime
that women do more than men. 67.7% women, 32.3% men.
Is it shoplifting?
No. It's prostitution, because that's a crime in America.
Oh, I feel like it
doesn't count.
That's underwhelming. That's a fucking absolute fucking technicality. That.
Aye. The only other one that we're truly fucking close. Oh, that's pretty fucking close. Embezzlement, almost 50-50.
And embezzlement is the like procuring of money.
Yeah, hiding it. We're close in fraud. That's good. Forgery and counterfeit. And they're pretty good at. This is an interesting jump in numbers. So, arson, violent crime, which I imagine is just burning a person, 80% men.
Arson
20%.
in violent crime.
Yeah.
Is that like all one word, not arson and violent
So
crime?
arson, and there's two subsections of it. One is violent crime, and the other one is property crime. And apparently women do 37% of the property.
Right.
I mean, it's still all men. Boys, we are shite. We need to stop this. Come on now.
Aye.
Some of those should be closer to 50-50. Either that or women need to up their game.
Aye.
Go and do more murders, ladies. There's your feminism. Go do more murders. You've earned the right. We've been murdering you for, let's be honest, years and years and years and years and years and years and years. Like, historically, all the time, across all cultures, pretty much.
Up your burglary game as well. You've already got the tights. So
Do you think it's just because they're nicer? It can't be that.
I think so, you know.
No, it can't be that.
No,
it's got to be because they're weaker.
No, I think
I didn't mean that. I just wanted to say something horrible.
Because they're bottlers.
It's
it's not that they don't want to do it. If that was the stats on who wanted to do the crimes, right, the women would be like 99% on all of them.
There it is. There's the Elliot Steele in us coming out.
This is a bit. I don't have to put footprints around this. This is a bit. But just up your game. Where were we at? Your
girlfriend. Should talk.
His girlfriend picked his dog. His girlfriend picked his dog. His dog.
I stepped on it last.
Do you agree that should be the new intro for the podcast and the new name of the podcast?
No.
No?
You want that to be the new intro?
Maybe.
Just for one episode, like?
For every episode that your girlfriend picked your dog.
Let's do an unveiling of the dog episode where you can have that.
Great, I'm very excited.
Yeah, on a podcast.
That'll force people to subscribe to the Patreon.
So they can watch the video too.
Anyway, I was ignoring you entirely while I was learning about crimes while you were trying to explain the...
Yes, so you've got your merch, which went out on sale. You sold a handful of items. And then the items just stopped selling, and I was like, well, that had a glass ceiling, didn't it? Not everybody is Team Cream, it turns out.
But
The Muggins one, still dripping away. People buying the tortoise and the hare. And then I got an email off Spreadshirt Sweatshop, and it said that it's a breach of community guidelines. And I was like, oh no, not his middle finger.
Aye, that would have been the fucking worst.
I can't be in business with a company that denies a fucking image.
Aye.
Because the middle finger is up.
Aye.
Oh, grow up.
Aye.
Right? So I opened the email, figured it was that.
Your religion is showing just your repressed Catholicism.
So I looked at the email in length, I read it, and it said there was a copyright infringement. And I went onto the trademark archive and typed in Team Cream, thinking that, like, because if there is a trademark on Team Cream, you'd have to rebrand. You can't be the other Team Cream, the one that didn't get into the copyright.
I would have just changed it to like Teamio Creamio.
Aye. They would have flew off the shelf.
or Tom Crumb.
There's a cream team.
There's
a Team Cream Puffs.
Oh, maybe that's what I'll call my followers. I'm Cream. These are my cream puffs.
So I was like, it must be his face. Have you copyrighted some of your images? Because it was a drawing. It was
God,
like
if I got those made as like tank tops, those would sell a lot amongst my gay fans. I'm a Team Cream Puff.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Aye.
I'd wear one.
I'd wear one.
And
We'll work on it.
And I emailed them. I was just like, it's a unique drawing of I can't leave my business partner. We're in business together, you know what I mean?
Jesus, all right, well, let's know where I stand.
So I was like, it's a unique picture of my business partner. And Team Cream isn't taken in the trademark, so you can tell us what it is. And it was like, it's a true, this is like a real, this is like nice for Lady.
Aye.
That like her artwork got like seen as a true depiction.
Oh, because it was so accurate.
It was so accurate. And they said that I didn't have...
I'm very, very glad that they didn't throw that at us about the logo.
I would have loved that.
That would have been fucking devastating.
We had nose in your weak chin.
They were just like, this is clearly a photo of two people. And unless we get these two very ugly men, if we get them to sign a bit of paper saying this is fine. What do you mean it's drawn?
So I somehow need to get them permission from you. So you're basically in a legal battle with yourself to release the image of your face.
So do I just get in contact with them, like with a picture of my face?
I don't know. They didn't really say how to do it, but I'll just write out a form that he can sign and scan that and send it, and I'll send them a little video of you just going, "Hello, it's me." Look, it's the same one of the image.
Aye, that's my face. I consent.
So I've just got a little bit of I'm kind of court basically to try and push Team Cream through.
Wonder if you're going to say anything homophobic during this court case.
It wasn't homophobic. It was misogynistic.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
So.
Because it's a girl's drink.
That was very funny.
Was that on the... No, it wasn't on the extra bonus podcast with me and Callum talking shite.
It was on the last Monday's podcast. Right. Can I get a witness? So yes, what we've got as well, we've printed out. I can do this on the video. Anybody watching on the video? We've got it. We've ordered one of Sloss and Humphries on the Road logo T-shirts, and we're going to sign it and make it out to whoever wins. We'll do the draw probably on Thursday actually, but like on one of the upcoming podcasts we're doing the draw, and if you're a tier 2 subscriber you get an entry into the draw, and if you're a tier 3 you get 2 entries into the draw,
and if you're tier 4 you get to enter one of us.
Not me, please. I'm still working on me anal health.
Aye, how's it been going recently? Because that's the thing. Like, you and me, we're good. We talk about mental health with each other. You know, we'll occasionally check in with each other. Yep. But I do think it's important that men start talking to each other about rectal health as well.
I'd actually quite like someone to have a look at it.
Right, well, that's going to have to be a doctor.
I thought you said you cared about my welfare.
I do, but I also understand the limits of not only my diagnosing skills, but the limits of our friendship, and it's not to stare upwards into a bloody cavern of hell.
It's not bloody. It hasn't been bloody in a little while.
Why am I looking at it then?
It's just like a little polyp.
Oh, well. Just pop it.
I think it's a pile. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a pile.
Go do it with get a mirror.
I have done.
FaceTime Natalie.
I've done it.
FaceTime Natalie and leave the camera on the floor and then squat above it.
I used the mirror where you like flip it round and you're shaving and it magnifies so you can shave. I popped that on the toilet seat and put my head between my legs.
Kiss your ass goodbye.
While I was down there. I checked my piles and I was like, that is a little bit of a... I don't know if I need that looked at.
Gross.
Should we edit this bit out?
No, I don't get piles, and I hopefully never will.
Maybe it's just because I'm old.
And you're just such an aggressive, violent shitter.
I mean, there is that. I wipe too hard.
That's always the best.
And I deadlift, so I did.
What's that got to do with anything?
Deadlifting?
Deadlift hurts your arsehole.
Well, it's just straining, isn't it?
Your arsehole?
I don't know, I imagine. I reckon you could prolapse your arsehole doing deadlifts if it was that way. If it was that way inclined.
I think about it.
What on? What podcast do you listen to?
First of all, if anyone...
Google, can you get piles deadlifting? Aye, that's a funny one. Like, you know, if anybody had... had like a. Oh, did I ever tell you about my friend at the sports centre who checked me cock?
If you're lifting, hold on. When you are lifting a piece of heavy furniture or lifting weights, lifting too much weight can lead to a common condition called hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are enlarged veins in the anus or lower rectum and can be made worse by frequent heavy lifting or holding your breath when lifting heavy objects.
So, can we all agree that I'm suffering here because I'm hench?
Sure.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I needed that. I really needed that. I'm really trying to build back up my portfolio of being a real man and what it is.
Don't you drive an automatic now?
No, I do not.
I was just making sure.
You do.
No,
I
I don't.
You don't on a technicality.
No, I
you don't because it doesn't have a gearbox.
Because it's no gears.
That's like going, oh, my bike doesn't have any gears, and then you pull up on your big wheel and you're just pedaling the wheel.
No, it's it's like it would be like that with a fucking tram. It's just I drive a Tesla. There's no gears. It's an electric car. It just speeds up and slows down.
You drive a tram.
I drive a tram.
That was spinning off from something else that I wanted to stay on, but it's gone, isn't it? Oh. I don't want to stay on the piles for any longer.
No. Well, I mean, that's kind of what they are inherently.
You're not close enough to your mic.
Why?
Because it noise gated you out.
Oh, no, I don't.
It thought you were ambient noise and cut you. So, we have had a fucking mental weekend because on Friday night we had the Fringe, so we've done my last day of the Fringe.
Mm-hmm.
So
at the Edinburgh Festival Theatre.
At the Edinburgh Festival Theatre, massive gig, and then I went and done my last show with Baldy and Gareth Waugh, and we done my new material, and I signed off that, and then we went to Glasgow and done 2 shows recording your special in the Hydro, in the Armadillo in Glasgow, which is a fucking mint venue, quite iconic.
Yeah.
And Capaldi came again, biggest fan.
Lewis.
And I want to get him on the podcast. He'd be fucking so good on the podcast.
I think he would, but it's going to have to be at a time when we're actually at home for a bit.
It's like trying to schedule when like everyone's touring.
Aye.
Like ideally it would have been done during lockdown when we couldn't have seen each other.
Let's try and get him on the podcast, and let's just try and get him cancelled, because his boundary, his standards for getting cancelled will be way lower than ours.
Yeah.
Because of the stuff that I've spoken about on stage and been very open with my entire life in regards to like fucking.
It's like, if you went on the one show, there's enough in the back catalogue of things you've said that would get you cancelled off the one show. Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of get cancelled from your platform for anything you've said, right? But you can get cancelled off, like, certain platforms that demand a higher level of decorum. Well,
it's also because, like, we've got our fan base now that very much knows what we do and to expect, whereas Lewis's fan base is much, much wider than ours.
Yes.
It like goes up to 100-year-old women down to 3-year-old children, and that's a lot more sensibilities across the board.
Well, if these people are like just like fans of everything he does and wants to see everything he's done, every interview, every YouTube video, like, and then they're like, oh, he's done this podcast, it's behind a paywall, let's pay £3, and this poor innocent people that aren't about this life just subscribe to like 80 hours of fucking tripe.
Aye, absolute fucking garbage. Only the truly mental would pay for.
Just take them further and further away from God.
Speaking of, subscribe to our fucking Patreon, you fucking piece of shit. I'll kill you, did.
Who was that? None of us spoke.
No, the house must be haunted. Haunted by the last person who didn't subscribe to Patreon.
Yeah, so I will replace the podcast for several episodes if we can get Lewis Capaldi to sing Your Girlfriend Picked Your Dog. I have to take that.
Aye, that would be fair.
Have to take that hit. So we decided that it's a big day. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a lot going on. Camera crews running around. Fucking like the staff for a massive gig like that. It's a big operation. There's like the crew rooms just got loads of pizzas in because everyone's fucking working all day on the operation, and we're just like, we've just got the performance to think about. Right. So like, we're having a drink, aren't we? And we managed to finish a bottle of whiskey before the second show.
We did, aye.
And we were mullered and having such a good time. Gigs were lush. And then we went back to yours and had a bowl.
Aye.
Of Rice Krispies.
Yep.
Had a bowl.
A bowl of cream puffs.
And then I ended up...
We were actually talking about marijuana. A bowl, for any new nerdy listeners, it's like a pipe. You put it in the top. The Americans call it doing a bowl.
Yeah, it's just a bong in it, like a pipe. It's more like a pipe it's more like a pipe than a bong.
Yeah.
And we watched Match of the Day and laughed at Arsenal. Ha ha ha, Arsenal.
So good. It's so good when they do so shit. It's just like at this point, it's almost altruistic of them to like just so consistently make everyone else's day.
Do you know who's a massive Arsenal fan?
Pincer and Baldy and Gareth Waugh and Ramesh Ranganathan and Jack Whitehall and Darragh O'Brien and Alan Davies
And Chris Martin.
Not
that one.
Well, maybe that one.
There's a disproportionate amount of people support Arsenal.
It's all of them.
And when they haven't scored after 3 games
Beckett.
in the flat bottom of the league with 0 points, it's just dead funny.
It's so good. They're so shit. Tom Rosenthal, I think.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we watched Match of the Day, had some more whiskey to celebrate that. And then and I passed out on the couch and woke up like an hour and a half later to you just like grabbing me foot, going taxis outside.
Didn't grab your foot at all.
You literally, I woke up and my foot was in your mouth, right? And I was like, take my shoes off at least.
That's just how I tell you the time, by sucking the amount of toes. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half in the morning.
So it was 4:30 in the morning, and we went to the airport.
Oh, but I did my greatest ever, my favourite pastime, which is getting high before you go to the airport. I love it. It's my favourite thing in the entire world, and I fucked up.
You totally fucked up.
No, you don't even know this bit yet. We fucked up, and we're in trouble with Cara.
I don't know this.
No. So literally just after after the 3 hours in the queue trying to get through Portugal customs and stuff, Cara messaged with a bunch of videos. When we left at 4:30 this morning, because we left the door open, we left Ray out until like 11 in the morning. So Cara just it gets worse. Cara, we have security all around the house. So Cara has just footage of Ray just confused, like walking up to the door, walking away over the course of 6 hours because nobody would let him back in the house.
Oh, where was like Shirley? She noticed at breakfast.
Because I'd woken her up when I was sort of getting up, and because she's got me.
And had you put out breakfast?
Yeah, well, I think she'd assumed that I'd...
So you put out breakfast and locked out your cat. There it is, psych.
Yeah, and Ray's... look, obviously cats are designed to be outdoors, but Ray's not an outdoor cat at all. She goes outdoors, but for the first 10 years of her life, she was locked in one room in a house. This wasn't us, by the way. This was the previous owner. She was a breeding cat. So she can go outside, and she does go into the garden and explore. She's not an outdoor cat. She's not designed for it. And
she does seem like she's got the coat for being outdoors.
Aye, but not the brain.
And it wasn't the worst day to be locked out.
No, but when she came back in, apparently she had like fucking all those horrible like sticky leaves on her and stuff, and she was eating her toe beans and aye. Cara wasn't best impressed.
Get a dog, man. Get
one with anxiety. One that if you leave it outside, it'll get picked up by a seagull and swallowed whole.
Is that an actual worry, do you think?
In America, right? You know, Catherine?
Yes.
Like, so, not with her dog, because she's got fucking, basically a mental staffy, but all of her other friends have got
Is
really
this Catherine who I've known for years and I just found out yesterday she was the daughter of Seth from the OC?
Yes, aye.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I've known her, I've seen hang out with her in LA and at the Fringe.
She's a Grammy nominated, a winner at this point.
She's in You.
She's the TV show.
I
checked behind.
She is in You.
She's a phenomenal singer, and she's in what's it called? It's on Broadway. It's Alanis Morissette's one. She's very good in it. Anyway, she's Grammy nominated. Anyway, her friends.
Is it called Jagged Little Pill?
Yes,
because that was a guess. That's what it would be called if it was.
It is called Jagged Little Pill. Yeah. That's exactly what it's called. It's very good. My mum and dad have seen it. She was telling me.
I hate that when we hang out with people who have actual talent.
Oh, and she's like legit.
Yeah, when you hang out with actually talented people and you're like, oh, I'm a fraud, I just say stuff.
I just make fucking dick jokes, man. My only true talent is that most other people don't have the confidence to do what I do. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I'm a salesman.
She was telling me, because she lives in the fucking hills in LA, but people with tiny fucking dogs have to get like coyote collars, but also they have to get some like spiked backpacks, and that's to stop them being taken by eagles.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, man, the fact that there's several brands of these collars and backpacks, it's happened loads, clearly. Like, it's a common thing. This isn't like a one time and now we've invented this. This is happening all
because somebody messaged me on Instagram after listening to the podcast and just saying like, I think it might be Dan Garrett. I'm going to try and get it. I think it was Dan. Had said, have you got like kestrels and that in the area? Because I do live by like a lot of farmland. Yeah. It's like, I said, just in case you have to put a mesh dome over your garden, right? Any messages with that? It like, I couldn't read whether he was teasing us
or whether it was,
whether he was like, watch your dog for kestrels, mate.
Man, it does happen. I don't know if kestrels do it, but oh man, if it did, and look, I would never be happy at the death of an adorable, innocent dog. But fuck, we'd get a good podcast. I think I'd fly Nick Cody over especially for it.
Imagine, he got in touch with us actually. Just I opened my inbox, but I got out of bed, had my coffee, opened my message, and it had Nick Cody, what's this about your dog? And I just went straight back to bed.
You blocked him on all forms of social media, deleted his number, got a restraining order, a cease and desist letter turned up at his door. 48 hours later,
I put myself through a relocation program so you couldn't even try and find it.
You're in witness protection now. Cody's banned from the Patreon episodes of the podcast.
So I messaged us about that, right? And then and then I just apologised to him, and I was like, he was like, actually, it's probably better than getting like an ex-farm dog staffy that you have to find a new home for when you get children. Like, it's a better idea that. And I was like, oh, maybe it's your girlfriend picking your dog isn't such a bad thing as they think it through. And he was like, well, on a technicality, like Luch chose our dog. And I was like, aye, but that's not what this. Thanks for giving us some ground on this, but that's not what the song's about. We all know that's not what the song's about.
I wonder if any of the listeners have taken that fucking toxic masculinity into their everyday life, male or female. I wonder if like there's just like a group of girls that listen to this podcast and know whenever they see
Natalie.
Natalie
does it.
Natalie does do it.
Natalie leads the charge on it. I'm trying to work out what I've done.
Well, she knows she can get away with it. I honestly, Natalie, I can't. You don't need to give me a birthday present this year. Like,
that's your birthday coming up.
It is. Oh, I was about to say, do you know how I know it's my birthday? Because I'm an adult and I'm not an idiot. But Cara gets very, very excited about either about birthdays or Christmas because she likes buying gifts for other people. Because she's very, very good at buying gifts for other people. Like, she listens to what they say in conversations. Mm-hmm. She remembers things that they like. She can piece things together. And then when it comes time...
She's thoughtful.
Yeah, as opposed to us, which is just like, what's an expensive thing that I can throw in your direction?
That time when I bought Natalie an iPad, I'd been going out with her a couple of years, and I was like, I'll get her an iPad. And then Jean was just like, is that all you're getting now? And I'm like... God, it's like 600 quid. I can't remember how much the way at the time. I was like, it's a fucking expensive gift. She's like, it's just not very thoughtful, is it? Is it engraved in that? And I'm like, Jean, what are you doing? I had to buy a bunch of fucking trinkets from doing the little alleys in Brighton. And I'm like, just to like go with it.
Aye.
So I didn't look heartless buying her, because that's just different, isn't it? Like,
but they just, I think for most women, they just like the thought of it, because that's nicer. That means you've been paying fucking attention as opposed to, sorting by most expensive, click that thing, send it on through. Cara's very good at buying presents. What she's not good at is keeping secrets at all. Not only can she not keep secrets, you can if you've got a secret, it's written on her face. Like, she's got a big giant, like, flashing fucking star above her head that just says, I know something, and she tells everyone. Last Christmas, or maybe it was 2 Christmases ago,
she gave you a heart.
And the very next day,
I had it for Boxing sandwiches.
some leftovers. You don't want to cook, do you?
Nah.
You're hungover on Boxing Day.
Yeah, there's plenty of me heart left for everybody.
So it's I just put it on sandwich. I put a little bread soaked in gravy in the middle. I call it the moist maker.
A bit of applesauce.
She was buying me she was doing 12 days of Christmas. So if for the 12 days before Christmas, she got me a present.
Oh, so that starts today because you're on the 11th.
What day is it today? Well, she's not doing it this time. She did it for Christmas, is what I'm saying.
Oh, right. I thought you meant your birthday.
No. She did it for Christmas, and
last Christmas, the one before last. I'm on it.
Because it was the end of the X tour. We had so many people around. Cara spent the entire night individually taking all 20 guests upstairs to explain to them all the presents that she had bought me, just because that's how much she needed to tell someone.
Yeah.
So at the moment,
She wanted it to be a surprise just to you. She can't cope with being a surprise elsewhere.
Everyone else and I could get it out of her if I wanted to. I have to be the adult in the situation. If I was just fucking because she wants to know what she's getting for gifts as well. If I was like her, I would already know what I'm getting for my birthday. But I'm like, don't tell me. Don't
so
tell me.
So you have to actively keep her back.
Stop it. You're going to ruin it for your fucking self. I'm going to enjoy it either way.
Yeah.
It was the time for Christmas she bought, for my birthday last year, she bought me the gaming chair from the Xbox, and it was a big surprise, and she didn't want me to know I was getting it, it was my big sort of gift.
And there's a picture of it on the box.
Yeah, the guy delivered a box that said gaming chair on the side.
Yeah.
And I took it and I was like, Cara, look. And she was absolutely devastated. That was one of the times when she was angry, right? But I just had to be like, you're not angry at me, right? You understand? I didn't do anything wrong in this, but she was just... No,
she needed somewhere to put her anger, and you were closest.
Yep. Aye.
That was the same Christmas that I bought her a present that is a bigger version of what you got her for her birthday.
Yep. Cara really likes slush puppies. Maybe I'll just get a slush puppy machine, he said, standing next to the slush puppy machine I had already bought her for her last birthday.
That tiny little fucking bit of junk that you got from August.
She wouldn't let me buy it. I've said for ages, I'm like, man, fucking, I want to buy a real ass fucking ice blast machine one day.
You have got clearance from Piggy to get a pinball machine.
I know.
I witnessed that. If she tries to change her mind on that.
Aye, she did. There's a NQ64, that barcade in Edinburgh, which is class. It's just so nice to have a fucking barcade.
Shout out NQ64, who I currently have the high score on Cubat.
Well, I think you just did for that day.
I mean, it was the day it opened.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's gone.
Pretty much the day after launch on it.
But Cara got mad into the pinball, and I've always, you know who fucking loves pinball machines and owns 3. Baldy! No, not him. I wish.
What about
Linda?
No,
I'm out of guesses.
Jim
Jeffries.
Aye.
It was pinball. You know what I liked it because every time I'm playing a pinball machine, right, I'm sinking money into it, right, and as I'm going, I'm working out what shoots activate what.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it because they're just it's actually overwhelming how many fucking options and lights are coming at you that you literally just, when you're playing, hit the balls. But if you know what unlocks what, you get much more game time out of it because you're like, oh, if I get into there 3 times, it's going to give us 4 balls or whatever, or this one will give you an extra go. So you can buy more game time. If you know where you're aiming for, because you can't aim for stuff you catch it in the paddle and then let it roll down the paddle and hit it at the right point.
And getting the right bit to send it across.
Yeah, there's much more than just whacking it.
But I want to make sure that I do, because the pinball machine I want is the Deadpool one. The Deadpool one's fucking great, but they don't make those anymore. You've got to get them second hand, and they don't ship from either Australia or America where they are. Yeah,
and if they're second hand, they're probably faulty. They're probably impossible to get fixed.
Aye, I just feel like...
So
this is the definition of a first world problem. It's way higher than.
So I used to play the one on the PC where you just use the shift buttons to play
space fucking something
like that, and there's loads of that. I got pretty good at it, right? But the reason I got good at it is because if it balances precariously on the bit where it's about to tip off and going down the side, you can hit spacebar and that's tilt, and it's like nudging the machine. So you can nudge the machine. Obviously, if you keep tapping spacebar, all the lights come on and it fucking freezes. So you kind of keep tapping space. But that is just such a major thing in pinball to save your life. You tap that at the right time, you save your life. I haven't been able to bring myself in an arcade to actually physically fucking wrench the machine.
When it's just in case you fucking break it. Well, maybe that's the way to get a fucking Deadpool one. Maybe We go there, we tilt it, the machine breaks, and they'll be like, "You break it, you buy it," and I'll be like, "Deal."
Sweet, that's what you're trying to get.
Done, done, absolutely. My dad can fix this easily.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Actually, if you did have any problems with yours, your dad could fix it.
My dad, like, we've got the arcade machine downstairs anyway, and it's got, I think, about 150 games on it. I always wanted more, but my dad can easily just get the fucking chip out and put. I mean, I probably could if I could be arsed, but then
there's a great documentary on Netflix about gaming.
Aye.
It's like 6 episodes or something, and there was this thing about like guys that would create chips for like expansion packs on arcade games, and they'd go and sell them to the arcades because they'd get like more money out of the machines with these things, but it was like kind of against the law at the time, and then they got like recruited by the people who made the games to work for them.
That's the best way to do it.
It's like, you know, when you catch like Catch Me If You Can, where they catch the fraudster and be like, and you work for a fucking like operation catching people who do fraud. It just hit that group of mates. So reminded me of your dad and his pals.
Aye.
It was just them. That's probably what they were like back then. What are you looking at?
I thought I heard a bang.
No.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm like,
turns out I just wanted one.
just lonely on this fella.
Wishful thinking.
That was so funny on the swings last night. We're like, this is just such a sad picture. I was sat in the swings here because the girls could be here to push her. And we'll get back home and tell them, they'll be like, you do know you could have pushed each other.
That was right there. So close. Right, let's plug some shit.
We've got to go to a gig. We've got another. We're doing like 10 shows in Lisbon, which is fucking cool because one, it means you could have played an arena if you chose to in Lisbon, which is a fucking great thing to find out. And another good thing is that means we can keep coming back to Lisbon in this moment that we've lost. I don't need to get me jokes. This moment that we're lost with the girls in the pincer, we'll be able to relive.
All right, we'll definitely be back
next year, as long as we don't stink every room out and make sure that they don't come back again. Well, but everyone seemed to enjoy
it. Right, so on Saturday,
try again.
Yep. September 3rd, we are in Gibraltar. Marlena has messaged me about that, which means it's probably not selling as well as we'd like. So if you know anyone in Gibraltar, or you can be asked going across the fucking border and you can get tickets to the...
Can I just shout out the boys who flew from Dublin to watch the show last night? I know they listened to the podcast. They were lovely lads.
Fucking all the way over to see us. I mean, I think they did also come out to get drunk and
make a hold out of it, but it was part of the package.
And then what the second Athens show on September the 14th is not sold out yet. And obviously, American people, the tour is on sale. Boston is almost sold out. So yeah, please just book up the fucking tickets because then we'll know if we need to add any more or not.
Class. So yeah, loads of gigs coming up. Probably near you at some point between now and February.
And obviously you can buy our merch at whatever the fucking merch website is.
Yeah, I actually put the link in. I should have done this originally. I put the link in the podcast description now. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, Patreon, wherever you're listening to it, Acast, it'll be in the link of the description. And so you can buy Team Muggins merch. You can buy Matty's a Pincer merch. You can buy the podcast merch. But we're still on an ongoing legal battle for the Team Cream merch. You don't get that kind of shit with Team Muggins, I'm just saying.
Your dad broke his wrist calling a 9-year-old rollerblader a wanker.
Your dad but has his lips instead of the toast.
Cut out the middle, man. Your dad has a website where he rates each Cabbage Patch baby. The categories include kissing, personality, durability, taste, and eagerness.
Oh, no. Your dad never changed his dreams since he was 6, and he's still trying to become a professional rounders player and keeps trying to form a band around his recorder playing.
Your dad can't fart if he's nervous or under pressure, so before he goes out to ask people to pull his finger, he farts in multiple Ziploc bags.
Just get the pull his finger and he passes them on.
Opens it.
To the inside of his jacket.
Squeezes it. Boop.
Your dad's celebrity crush is Big Bird off Sesame Street.
Aye, she's a big bird. He likes them big. Your dad named his fists Razzle and Dazzle. Give him the old Razzle Dazzle. He named them after his uncles.
Your dad tried to throw a toga party, but because of a typo in the invites, everyone turned up in yoga pants.
Your dad can't lick his elbows, and that's why they're the dirtiest part of his body.
He licks the rest of himself clean. I got it. And I described it to everybody else who also got it.
Welcome to Running Commentary with Guy Humphries. Here's a bunch of my thoughts that got to do with staying in my head.
Your dad can swim like a fish, and by that I mean he goes round in circles forgetting how he got there, and when he gets out of the pool he flaps like he's having a fit. And I've got another one. I don't know why I wrote 6. I found a line of ants running through the kitchen and followed it out into the garden, and there was your dad in file with them carrying a leaf above his head back to their camp.
He can lift 8 times his body weight.
But just chose not to.
No. They don't know.
Right, look. You can have it as an outro.
His girlfriend picked his dog. His girlfriend picked his dog. His girlfriend picked his dog.
His dog. Harmonize.
And that's our outro.